Greetings, fellow scientists. I am Dr. Way.
Salutations, young lab technologist. I'm Dr. Yah.
And as always, we are joined by the dry bones, Dr. Zeke. And we are so thankful that today you have decided to join us as we go mad for the gospel.
I'm sorry, Dr. Way, I can't hear you at all. Okay, but you're whispering, and I know we usually tell people to use inside voices, and that's a very nice inside voice, but it's almost like too inside voice. I can't hear you at all. I am really listening, and you know, the more that we keep going back and forth, I feel like this reminds me of a story from the Bible. Yeah, okay, so this is a lot like Samuel in the Bible. Oh, I did it! I got it! I didn't, oh, yay! Oh, I'm so glad we have these science degrees. Yes, so this reminds me of the story of Samuel in the Bible. So Samuel was living with Eli, and Samuel was asleep one night when he heard somebody call his name. And so he got up and he ran to Eli, because that's who he was with. And he said something to Eli about, "Why did you call me?" And Eli said, "I didn't call you, go back to bed." So he went back to bed. Same thing happened again. He heard this voice and he got up and he ran to Eli, and Eli said, "I didn't call you, go back to bed." So a third time he hears his name being called, and he runs to Eli, and Eli for the third time says, "Please stop waking me up. I am not calling you."
Right?
But then it dawns on Eli that it was actually God who was calling Samuel's name. And so Eli said to Samuel, "Next time you hear your name, answer with, 'Here am I, send me. Speak, for your servant is listening.'" And so the voice called, God called to Samuel again, and he woke up and he said, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." And he had instructions for Samuel to go and do his work in the field. So even though Samuel is hearing, he couldn't figure out where it was coming from. Well, I couldn't figure out what you were saying, even though I knew where it was coming from, but
I'm also very glad that we are able to hear, because obviously Samuel had a very important job to do. I mean, he was working for the Lord.
Yeah, and if he didn't have his hearing, he would have never heard God calling him.
Yeah. And guess what? Speaking of ears and hearing, they are marvelous things, you know, to have. It is time for Science Experiment. So yes, today we are going to be talking about our ears and hearing and listening and these cool things called sound waves. If you have a chance to check out your ear and the actual parts of it, I'll throw in a picture at the end of this video, but I want you guys to take a look to see how the ear actually hears. I mean, it's fascinating when you think like right here, okay, this is my ear. But when you actually get into the inside of it, it is a pretty cool thing.
There's a lot going on.
There is. Okay. So for today's science experiment, you are going to need one metal spoon, or several metal spoons if you have a couple people doing it, and some string.
Nice long piece of string.
Nice long piece of string. You are going to need the string tied to your spoon like this, and then you're going to need the spoon facing down. Okay? You are going to take the string and wrap it around your finger on one side, wrap it around your finger on the other side. Make sure the spoon is pointing down. You're going to put your fingers in your ears, okay? Scientists, you got that? All right. Then you are going to take the spoon and bang the spoon. Dr. Yah, can you show them what part of the spoon we're going to hit?
You're going to hit this part of the spoon, the part that you eat off of.
Okay. You're going to hit that against a solid surface. So like the edge of a table, what I'm going to use, a chair, something, the counter in your kitchen.
Countertop.
Okay? And I want you to tell me what you guys hear. Are you ready? All right, here we go. That is the coolest sound ever.
Okay, so I'm confused because all I heard was like the dinging, the tingle of a spoon hitting a surface. It didn't sound like anything different.
That's all you heard?
That's all I could hear.
I actually heard like church bells ringing.
No way.
Yeah, it was like bells ringing.
So it totally sounded different to me than it did to you?
It did, and that's what today's science experiment is about. It's about sound waves. Sound waves travel differently through something solid versus through the air. So what you heard was the sound waves traveling through air. What I heard was the sound waves traveling through the string. And because the string was connected to my fingers, which are also solid surfaces, and in my ears, by my eardrums, I actually heard the vibrations caused by the spoon hitting against the surface. So it sounded like bells were ringing.
How cool. Isn't it amazing what God has given us so that we can hear and we can learn and we can use our ears then to listen to others, to help others with that, but then most of all, we get to use our ears to hear God's word, just like Samuel heard God calling him.
Yeah, very cool. Well, for Dr. Dry Bones here and Dr. Way,
I'm Dr. Yah.
thank you for joining us as we went mad for the gospel. We'll see you next time.